Hey guys, just want to talk a little bit about where to play on the keyboard. We have 88 keys minus the holy tones up here at the top. So where would it be appropriate to play different songs, what octave to play in, and how to simplify things so that it sounds good, but not too muddy, not too many notes in the chord. We're going to use this song by Elevation called Here Again. The Springbrook campus sings it in the key of C. The same thing applies at the West Market in the key of G. You'll just shift to the different position. So in the key of C, the intro is the chord G4, A minor 7, and F major 7. So pretty much, generally speaking, anytime you play anything in the worship keys, you're not going to play it much higher than where the singer is going to be singing it. So usually most singers, including males, usually will sing from the C below middle C, and then the females might go up as high as C above middle C, depending on what key the song is in. So this is pretty much where you want your right hand to reside, unless you're trying to create momentum with some high strings or something during a big part of the song, whether it's the chorus or the bridge or something like that. So for instance, the Here Again song starts off very, very simple. I'm going to play in the left hand, and this is for real, all I ever play in the left hand. I never play a whole chord in the left hand because it's too much. It's like an ogre marching through the muckety muck of a forest. So really and truly, if you play two notes in the left hand, it can be the 1 and the 5 of the chord. See, it just sounds so much better all automatically. Or you can play the octave. Depending on if the song starts off maybe really light, you may just want to play one note, and that's what I'm going to do. For the G4, all that means is instead of playing the regular G chord, instead of a 3, you're going to play the 4. And that's the same thing for a 2. If it were a G2, you would play, instead of the 3, you would play G in the second of the scale. So I'm going to play a G4 to start. And if you notice, I'm kind of throwing around the top note. The worshiper's ear is going to hear whatever the top note is that you play. So you may not want it to be that one if it's kind of an off note, like the major 7 would be in that chord. So you can take the top note and throw it down an octave and shift your hands. Instead of playing this, take that E, move it to the bottom, and it sounds just so much more mellow, but it's still in there. So it would look like this with your fingers. G4, A minor 7. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. And then the F major 7. So instead of the root position, which if you took piano lessons, your piano teacher would be really proud of you right now for the different inversions. So this is the first inversion, which you would have learned in piano. But the way that I would play it, not the only right way, but definitely one right way, is to pull it down so that it's below middle C as much as possible. And then the chorus will stay in the same spot. Not enough unless you come, will you meet me here again? So this song is actually fantastic for teaching the weird chords. There's an A minor, which is not weird, but an A minor 2 brings the 2 in without the 3. And then it shifts to just a regular A minor. And then the F2 brings in the 2 instead of the 3. And the 3 means literally your third finger on the third note up from whatever the chord is. So the chorus again, I'm going to play the C chord in in a different inversion, which means normally the C would, or the G would be at the top. But I'm going to throw it down here so it's not so brassy. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? And then the turnaround, you can kind of splice it up a little bit. Instead of just playing, you can kind of stair step it like this. So the sound that I'm using on main stage is just intimate worship piano. If you wanted to add a little bit more to it as the song got bigger, you could. Just by going up to this pad, the Euphoria pad, and bringing up just a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of the live strings for this song. And the way I know the sounds to play is I do that and then I listen. And as the song gets bigger, you might even want to pull more of them up. You can kind of just click in there. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. You don't have to. This is just like added things that we've never had the ability to do before with the old keyboard. So if it's too much to think about, just stick with the original piano song or the piano sound, because that's what we've always had. And as the song gets bigger, you can throw down an octave for the left hand. I'm not enough unless you come. The right hand is exactly the same. The left hand, I've just added an octave. And it just fills it out and makes it bigger, even without the added stuff. Whoops. Without the added stuff with the main stage. Just add in that octave down there helps a lot. So don't feel like you have to do a whole lot. Really, sticking with less is more with the number of keys you're playing is actually going to be the most beneficial. Here at Springbrook, the way that will probably be the easiest to keep all the files organized, because you have multiple keyboardists, is to open the template and then save it with your name in the set folder over here to the left. So click on sets, and then if your name is Christy, you can type Christy, and then whatever the date is. And that way, if there's something that you use in there in that concert, and you maybe a month later you play the same song, you can click in there and have all of your instruments and set lists saved right there. Another thing, if you know another keyboardist used a set or a patch that you really liked the week before or some other time, you could open their concert. Let's say Christy on September 17th played a Sons and Daughters and you really like the patch. You can go in here and click on the blue folder part of it, or if there's not a blue folder, you can just click on the individual patch and go up to the little gear and click Save as Set. You can also click Command E, which I think is Export, and it will save it as the patch. Now remember the difference between the set is the whole concert, and the patch is the individual song or the individual instrument that you're playing there. So I'm going to save that as Sons and Daughters in the patch list as the tutorial, so I don't mess it up with my other one. And then if I'm in another concert, let's say I open up the template and I want to do the Sons and Daughters song in it. Sometimes this is the reason it takes forever to load a concert that is full of instruments and sets, and it just gets huge and big. Now the template has loaded. This is the one that doesn't have any funny business in here. And you can click Command I, which is insert, or you can go up to this little gear and load patch, which you'll look over here. If you forget what it is, it's the Command I. Click on patches and scroll down to Sons and Daughters tutorial, and then click import, and the same set, or the same patch, I'm sorry, it always loads at the bottom of whatever you've got going on there. So there it is. Now the important thing will be to delete all, well, to save it as yourself, first of all. Definitely save it with your name, and then delete all of the other things that you don't need, because that makes the concert smaller and it will load quicker and take up less space on the hard drive of the Mac.